Hello, I'm Ryan Carter. I'm the Dungeon Master for this campaign I have been creating. It's called the Errigold Farleon War. It is our first campaign we're playing, and we're just getting into the YouTube. So please like and subscribe to show your support for what we do and our channel. Thank you.
Okay, so just to give a quick recap, we can start at the beginning because it's kind of short. Basically, even just the very intro prehistory to the campaign, you went with the Knights of the Word from your monastery on a long journey, and you were saving captured humans, slaves, and other races of slaves with the Knights of the Word, who are from the last kingdom of man. You were captured by a gang of goblins and orcs, and just handcuffed, blindfolded, taken underground, and eventually you were rescued after being thoroughly disoriented by some adventurers, who you then adventured with for a little bit to face past this secret wall that you had a hand in opening quite well. So these maps will be at your disposal here. Basically what we're talking about right now is down here, because you went to go fight the darkest flame, essentially. You watched this goblin ritual summon this dark flame that fought the gang of heroes. Those maps don't line up in any way. One's underground, this underground. They actually do line up in a way, but, well, not really. Yeah, after those adventures, and you encountered the darkest flame and just fought your guts out, and one adventurer bowed down to pray before the flame. As they were burning, you run away, and you alone seem to survive, sleeping in the glowing mushroom fields that you saw earlier. And then in the morning, you go out of the orc camp, the orc fort and cave, rather, and walk out through the woods for a time, adventuring to the north, where you are pulled off the road by a ranger randomly, and you watch in secret as that's melting a little bit, not good. But this giant orc gang rushes by.
And he pulls me aside.
Then you meet the ranger Glaflorin, who you that night made camp with after befriending a goblin and his orc bodyguard or whatever. And that is essentially the backstory. So what it's thinking is you're taking a long rest for 3 days. So essentially there's an added backstory, which is day 1 at this goblin camp with Glaflorin. You guys don't really talk that much, but you guys harvest some plums and olives, so you're able to eat fresh fruit, and you're not going to use any of your rations. Day 2, you encounter some wolves, but Glaflorin manages to kind of scare them away, and you avoid a combat, and you eat your fruit. So you basically eat all the fruits.
So I didn't use my explorer's pack at all.
So you have all your rations.
Yeah.
You have like 4 rations, right?
I thought it was 10.
Something like that, yeah.
Or 10 days. Let's do a solid 6. Does that sound better?
Yeah, because you probably ate some.
Yeah, let's do 6
so far. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever's fine. I can't remember these lights. Much more scarier.
Oh yeah.
So on day 3, this is what I was thinking. You and Glaflorin definitely get to know a little bit about each other during this time. So we'll just kind of intro with that, and then you've got your stuff to do ahead of you. But yeah, we'll enter into this as Glothorin is telling Tredicor basically his own history, which you discerned a little bit about by the nature of his ear cuts. But
So he's half elf, right?
yeah, I was a stable hand and a servant to my father, the Lord Faint Orendil. He was wealthy, and he lived in a grand city called Errigold, the Kingdom of Errigold. It's far to the north, past Ozar, another kingdom of the elves, which is ruled by Errigold bloodline. We lived, though, in the eastern arm towers, with golden fields of rye and corn, and the force of Earl aroused me as a child, my curiosity and optimism, to escape the less pleasant encounters in the city.
What city was that?
The city of Errigold. It was the capital of the kingdom. My mother was a slave to the elves, a prisoner of war, and was badly abused, as was I when I stood up to them, and I was banished. I couldn't talk to anyone. And when I tried to return, the guards explained this to me. But when I tried to return again, I was taken away and thrown in jail, and eventually ended up as a servant in Ozar. And after many years, I was freed by Abraham, who you know. So, since then, that was many years ago, 10 years, I have lived in the forest and protected the Elderwood secretively away from society ever since.
You're quite far south from Thurl?
Yes, this is safer territory, although to the south where you plan to go, we could help you sneak past the wars between the men and the elves. The elves have pushed the men back very far to the south, but this territory is wilds. The elves themselves mostly cannot control the wilds in this area very well.
Well, my mission is not between the wars of men and elf. My mission and main quest is to find the knowledge to continue on with my monastery, and also the Ark Orb, I believe.
The who?
My main quest, like for my character, is to find the Ark of Knowledge, like the Ark Web or Orb, I think.
The Ark of Knowledge.
Yeah.
I do know a grand wizard who may know of these things, who goes by the name of Ornicus. Have you heard of him?
I have not.
I think he is in touch with the realm of the humans quite frequently. Perhaps if you travel that way, you'll come upon him one day.
If we work on this journey together, how far can you come with me?
As I said, I should at least go with you as far as the edge of the forest. And I think I have thought about a route for you. If you do go that way, there's a gap of Gilead between the mountains to the north and south. If you look at my map here, he hands you his map of this region, which is the southern forest, really, the furthest southern extent of the forest, where the Elderwood himself rests. The gap is where the Minotaur are, if you can see in the bottom right. But you shouldn't fear the Minotaur too much. Perhaps we can reason with them. They're somewhat reasonable beasts.
I shall go through the pass.
From there, you can take a boat to a human settlement of fishermen. Should be safe that way. It's easier than going through the deserts to the south. Should be, anyway. But yes, tell me more of your story.
I am from the last monastery of men. We are peaceful. We stay away from many altercations between the outside world. But
Good.
that does not mean that we are not part of the outside world. We come out in every few years with a person like myself. One, to learn new knowledge and to make sure that we are not isolated and lose the foresight of knowledge or progress.
Indeed. Sounds as your society is akin to my own heart. But if you do seek knowledge, I fear there is much in the world for you to find. Although much of it should be dark that you encounter.
We are our own judges of what is good and dark, bad or evil.
I've heard of many dark tales in recent years. But
that is why I am here, to learn not just one side, but both.
yes, I know not. Perhaps one day you shall enlighten me. But I shall remain in relative solitude, as your monastery advises. Your monastery? Monastery. Interesting. The elves did have their religions and churches.
Maybe we're not so different, the elves and humans. Why do you think we make war?
I should think not. I don't know why they war. I just know they are both quite despicable in their entirety. Although I know more of the elves and their despicable ways.
Well, there's tradition, and then there's the age of man.
Tradition?
Elvish tradition.
Yes. Well, Elvish tradition, somewhat noble. Don't know much of human tradition, but the way of the world itself, in my experience, is quite dark. Does not surprise me that the darkness rises like a shadow over the lands.
Well, I do know this for sure. I have no quarrels with either men or elf, or even man half-elf.
Very good. Well, would lie to say that I had no quarrel with men or elf, but I have no quarrel with you, good sir, Triticor. And I shall accompany you to the south. I shall point you in the land of the humans, or wherever you desire. But first, I must visit the heart of the Elderwood, and we make our way there. I think we're well rested.
What's in the heart of the Elderwood?
Well, I should show you the Elderwood itself.
Does it possess such magic that I have only heard in stories?
I would assume so. What stories have you heard?
That it is a very spiritual realm, and those that are connected within it experience something unworldly. And this is something I would wish to learn.
I would say so. As for how to learn it, I'm not sure.
At least let me experience it.
You shall. Let's go off then. And he'll grab your shoulder briefly as you guys kind of share that promise. And being well rested, you regain your hit dice, which you may expend now or at a short rest later to regain hit points. You've also got your potions.
Yeah, so since I did this long rest, I feel like I went from my 6 to 8, correct? I regained my HP.
True, yeah, you actually regain your HP and you have your hit dice.
Okay, so now
You have one.
I have 8 and then 1d8.
So you can do a short rest later.
Yeah.
Which, using the gritty rule variant, will still be longer than a few hours. Well,
And then also, Let's see.
Yeah,
Did
several
we
hours.
get rid of?
A day.
I had.
This long rest was 3 days, but long rest could be longer if you're exhausted or severely wounded.
You wrote it down somewhere.
What are you looking for?
I had like a hinder. Exhaustion. Oh, exhaustion back to 0. Okay.
What do you mean a hinder?
We had. Let's see. I think you actually got rid of it last time. It was like.
Yeah.
Forget what it was.
Yeah, no worries. So basically, the wood just around your goblin camp, there's just like a small awning and like this little tent where you guys sleep, and the wood beyond is dark and deep and dense as you go south more so. This woodland is overgrown with shrubs and ferns, just like covering the paths all around. There's no clear-cut path necessarily. In segments there are, and kind of earlier, like before you were on the path, the Goblin's Cut, which you noticed, that led back to the Goblin Fort.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're just in this dense woodland with overgrown ferns all over the place. So there's no clear-cut path. And, it's very wild land.
So this is obviously the path less traveled.
And I guess, so go ahead and make a navigation check. Or rather, a
Maybe
survival. You could do either, whichever you prefer.
Survival. 17.
Nice. That's quite good. Yeah, as you guys just continue on south for a few hours after leaving the camp, you enter eventually this edge of the forest where the forest gives way to this large clearing, and there's a stream, and it connects to actually a larger river that goes kind of north down a slight slope away from the mountains. You can also see these two mountain ranges on either side of you, kind of coming out of the forest. Glaflorin will point the ear like here.
Mm-hmm.
This little riverbed, or this little base of this river, and to your right, which is west, there's these large mountain ranges, and you can see all the way across these rivers connecting to this larger river and this big mountain range on the far side. And Glaflorin will say that way, over here, is where the Gillian passes, and we will encounter Minotaur there. But first we'll dip down into the Elderwood for my errand.
Well, this is the heart of the Elderwood, so this is
Yes,
where...
we're about in the heart of it now, really. The Elderwood does extend a bit to the north, however, this is typically considered the Pine Grove. The Elderwood itself is somewhat small, but very dense and deep. We were in it a bit. It merges at where it merges with the Pine Grove. So, if you did encounter any illusions or hazes of your mind, just double your resolve as we enter into the next forest area ahead. So the day is clear and bright. It's like midday, basically noon, and you guys don't encounter any like animals out in the wild except for some birds flying overhead. And you cross the river as Glaflorin leads you down south, and basically in front of you see the Elderwood, which is just more of what you saw before. The more ancient wood, the twisted olives, just become more dense, and the path becomes less clear. You just have to kind of squeeze between trees at times as you enter. So I guess as we just kind of journey just a little bit into the Elderwood, do another check for me of the same sort. Just navigation based or nature. Well, I'd say navigate. It's survival. Do survival.
Survival.
Yeah.
Natural 20.
Boom. So there's a time Glawthorn's like, wait, did you see that? Is this way is south, right? And you're like, this way is south. We're going this way. Because you just walk in a straight line. You know which way south is. And Glawthorn's like, very good. I'll take your advice this time. Good job. I don't know myself, so.
What was that?
The woods almost got at me.
The moss is growing on the wrong side.
The moss is so thick across the trees. These woods seldom get to me, but they are quite confusing at times. And after venturing just a little bit further into the thick and dark woods, you see this little stream trickling through some like rocks along the path, and Glawthorn tells you stay back just a few feet as he like hops across these rocks towards this giant and ancient twisted olive tree, and he runs up to the roots, and it's like this weeping olive. Basically, it's like swaying as he like approaches it. You hear a magical voice lolling in your mind, but you cannot understand this old elven fairy tongue. Very unfamiliar. You, Glawthorn, you hear him ask, "How are you, the Elderwood?" And again you hear the voice echoing back. And Glawthorn says, "This concerns me. What can I do for you?" And you hear the voice of this fairy echo in your voice, like a recall. And Triticor says, "Here, let me introduce you," or sorry, Glawthorn says, "Let me introduce you to Triticor, my friend." And you can hear the voice of the tree. You can make a check, actually, like a history check.
I was going to do either nature or just because I feel like this is a spiritual, but it's also part of the forest. And I feel like
Yeah, I'll grant you nature if you want it, or history,
they're in the
or
same.
language, or whatever.
Yeah, they're all the same. They're all intelligence.
Yeah, I was going to say make that anyway, because this language is very unfamiliar. This magical voice.
What is that? 13?
What's that?
13.
13. So, basically you understand a bit of what he's saying, which is along the lines of, like, my good friend. You recognize this word because you've heard a bit of Elvish before, although you're definitely not super fluent. You recognize that word, whereas all the other words don't even sound Elvish. They sound more ancient, like a fairy language of some sort, though. But you definitely recognize that phrase.
What's the phrase again?
It's like a good friend.
Okay.
Amidst the bubbling in the words. And Glawthorn comes back to you and basically says, so I have received a quest from the Elderwood. So I must go soon, although I shall fulfill my duty to you as well. I must go to the north to investigate further the burning woods, which I'm sure you've heard of. Past this map alone, I do have another. If you've seen, you've gone to Ozar with the knights, and these two maps somewhat connect. So this map only shows this region down here in greater detail, but just north, the burning woods. You may have seen them. Watch out for this candle. Okay. Nice. Yeah, the burning woods have been a problem for
Literally the burning woods.
the Elderwood. These woods are they burn eternally. If you haven't seen them, and
I assume this is where we're looking.
a great deal. Yes, I'm not sure what rests on that X. You could investigate that as well. The heart of the burning woods, perhaps.
Well, as much as I do want to go,
We're over here.
I thought we were right here.
We're right here, but that's right here on this map.
Oh, right here.
this mountain range is the same. That X is this X.
Okay, I see. So yeah, we're literally like right here. In this area.
These are ancient maps. Wow.
So I do
Show ancient knowledge. What's that?
So I almost want to request to join him on his quest to the Burning Woods.
You could accompany to me to the woods if you do not have any business in the south. But if you do seek the human towns, I can show you the way to Gilligan Pass. And I should have a favor to ask of you to find the gray wizard I spoke of earlier. Ornicus, the elder would also request his aid. And I have not seen him in many years, although I have sent him letters by owl. I have heard no reply in many years. But he would be a great benefit to the wood. And I think he would be willing. But yes, you may accompany me either way.
I think I shall
Good
take
friend.
you upon this quest.
To the Burning Wood.
Yes, I require at least some sort of companionship through these lands that are very unknown to me.
Indeed.
And you, Ranger, seem trustworthy.
Well, it's good to have a companion of adequate strengths, such as yourself, young monk. It is seldom you find a friend of the woods in these days.
I agree.
Glad to have run into you. Well, I still have to go. Well, actually, let me think. We could go to the Pine Grove. It's quite a far journey to the Burning Woods. Perhaps if we can find that camp again, it would be a good place to rest for the night on our way. There's also a secret settlement where we can safely make our rest here at the bridge. It's unknown to
Is that the
anyone
one
who's not a friend of the woods.
along the Lost Road?
Yes. Have you been there? With the knights, perhaps?
Yes.
Yeah, they make their stay. But most elves and most humans know not of the Pine Grove, but the forest itself, the pines, woodlands.
Well, Ranger, you know these lands much better than I. I take your word on it, as long as we make good haste.
Lovely. I just hope the Elderwood will remain in good health until I see him again.
Well, are we not on a mission to protect it in the long run?
We are. Let us make haste then, back to whence we came, to the north.
Sounds good.
So, as you make your way back, it is... Actually, let's do another navigation check.
What's that, like 9?
Ooh, okay. As you guys kind of travel back from where you came from, you haven't gone too far into the this thick, dense part of the Elderwood to meet the heart of the Elderwood, essentially. But headed back seems to be taking quite a while longer,
Then our trouble in.
and you seem to be losing your way. So traveling through the same area again, you kind of notice like this isn't right, and you guys are like,
Do I see the
Choice.
river?
so you don't see the river. You're just in this really dense area of woods, and as you guys are kind of just consulting, kind of trying to figure out which way is north. these spiders kind of drift down from the trees on either side of you and make their way onto you guys as they're unsuspecting victims. So go ahead and roll like an initiative, because this is going to be an encounter with the battles. Oh,
Well, yeah, we'll do initiative. But just know that I have martial art unarmored defense. So that gives me at least defense.
nice. What's your AC?
13. Which is pretty fucking large.
That is not bad, yeah.
Even for not having any armor. So my initiative is 13.
Okay, and then let's see. What's his name? Orin. Yep. So actually, let me set this up. Oh yeah, did you see your little monk miniature?
I did, right here.
You like that guy?
I do.
Because there's actually a different one, but that's the best one. The other
No.
guy has the daggers, like in the picture, but it came with two.
Wait, so you just
It was like $5 for two of those. Yeah.
Really?
But I have the other guy looks
Did you
the same.
Did you paint him?
He's got daggers. I did in like
Awesome.
a day. You like that?
Yeah.
That was a speed paint.
No, that's awesome, dude. Thank you.
Hell yeah.
Because it's more of like along the lines of like my Shaolin monk instead of like a European like.
For sure. Yeah. There were some guys who were like Asian. I was like, you know, like these. But
This is definitely like a Persian almost.
version. So it's only half as well as I thought. But here's the deal: there's trees all around, so this is like a flooring plan that you can walk out.
Which way were we entering?
And you've got your mini, so your mini, I'll put him like here,
Right there.
and the spiders are like here, and Glafforin is beside you. Ooh, he's a heavy boy.
Yeah.
Oof, heavy boy. Okay. So, but basically what happens is these spiders kind of get the jump on you here. So, you're able to, just with your high initiative modifier, kind of notice this spider and, you know, you fling him to the side beside you. If you want to describe that better.
Okay, so as we're coming up to this one clearing, I notice a creature to my right. I do not notice it in time to actually fight it off, but enough to protect myself. And as it snatches at me, I grab it by the two fangs and I throw it to the side. And it goes straight towards Orin.
And as you notice, Orin, as you throw it kind of near him, you notice there's another spider that has just bitten into like his shoulder, and he's crying out in pain. And so yes, he takes some damage from that. But you get the initiative now.
Okay. I decide to do with my unarmed attack. I'm actually going to do, let's see. I think it's just it's not my fury, because I don't have that yet.
What's that?
Can I see the book?
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I leveled your character down. Welcome to gritty hard mode.
Oh, you're fine. I just want to see what my attack I do have left.
In the other campaign,
Yeah.
you were more powerful, but now you're all alone, so
Yeah.
you're also weaker and less powerful. And you don't have any friends, except for Gloff.
Yeah. I think it's 40.
What are you looking for, by the way?
Just my. Let's see. I'm just level 1 still, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So just martial arts. Yeah, I don't have my area blows. Yeah, area blows. I don't even have chi yet, so I'm just gonna do a martial arts move.
Nice.
And so I'm just gonna use my fist.
Okay.
But it's this plus 4. 14 for a hit.
That'll hit.
So that's 6.
Nice. So you can describe how you destroyed the spider.
So I'm gonna actually go for the one. So I threw
The one on the
spider
ground?
towards Orin,
You're gonna
and
save
then
it.
I saw the one that was attacking him.
Yeah.
And it was on his shoulder. And so my next reaction is I just go
Punch him.
right in one of the 8 eyes.
Side punch.
Just like
His 8 eyes kind of just like splurch out on like either side of your fist as he like crumples to the side, just like kind of like one of his leg kind of trying to scrape him away, but he just quickly gives way to death as the other spider kind of like draws into position to lunge on you, and Orin kind of like quite shocked goes in to stab this other spider with his like short staff, and kind of like prods it in the eye as it backs up, but it is still just kind of eyeing you guys as, let's see, actually he goes in for, the spider actually has priority, so he goes in for a lunge at you guys, but he misses as you guys both kind of move to the side and miss your reaction.
he's probably fairly close because this.
So
This
this
is the
guy's
one-
down, yeah,
yeah,
and you guys are basically, well, he's right here.
Yeah.
Well, actually, he's over here now because he missed you guys.
Yeah. Do I have enough reaction time to pull up my staff? And
Yeah.
just do another like. I just kind of
Yeah.
want to like, really just knock him out of the walkway and just kind of do it.
Yeah, seeing this little narrow opening of trees ahead of you, you can kind of try to prod him down there with your staff as well.
So I'm gonna roll the hit.
This is quickly drawing it.
11.
That hits.
So that's 1d6 plus 1. That's 7.
Nice. So yes, you may describe as you kind of prod this guy back into the bushes as he kind of.
So I kind
Becomes
of pull it out,
incapacitated.
and I actually kind of do like, I want to call it a double tap. Like I hit it in the eye, and as it like cowers in pain, I just go down right with my staff again and just like hit it right in the fucking head.
Yeah, he just kind of gets smushed like as it were a small spider. You kind of laugh like, huh, it's not too big of a giant spider, right? So, yeah, you guys kind of collect yourselves as you are making sure you're
Did
safe.
Orin take any poison damage or any physical damage because he did get bitten?
As he goes to inspect himself, he says, there's a small bite here, but I don't know. It might be a bit infected. It's swelling up, but
Do I have medicine?
it doesn't hurt too bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a medicine check. 16.
Nice. So that's a win. As you kind of inspect it, basically your reasoning is like, this is not a regular spider's bite. It's kind of like some kind of a magical ailment that besieges him. You kind of have this fear of it a little bit, actually. And in fact, I would say make a sanity check. But what you think is that it is an ailment that would get worse if you remain in the Elderwood, the thicket. But if you get out of the really dense part, it'll probably just clear itself up.
Okay.
It's kind of just
So
your
it's
analysis.
kind of like a dark wood, like
Yeah.
Dark magic.
Like not necessarily regular spider bite, like just dark magic of the wood.
Yeah.
Regional.
21. Natural 20.
21 with your sanity. So yes, you're just like, okay, yeah, I'm correct.
Yeah.
And
Let's
you
get
know,
out
you
of here.
overcome your fear, and you're just like, you tell Glophorin, and he's just like, okay, you know, we got to get out of here. So which way's north now that we're safe? So you guys try to figure that out.
I think nature. I'm gonna do a nature check. Or is after like this conflict, this encounter that we just had, do you think we kind of gain our bearings, or
Not necessarily.
okay? I'm
You
gonna
just
do
safe.
a nature / like just
Yeah. Perfect.
like nature check. I definitely do not see anything.
Glophorin makes one as well, though.
Huh?
And he's like, Glophorin gains his senses, though. I actually just rolled a natural 20. And Glophorin is like, okay, I know the way again. I've been here 1,000 times. I don't know what I was thinking. But you guys do regain your bearings and quite quickly make it out of the Elderwood. Headed north
Even
again.
though I did this,
What did you roll?
a 1.
You rolled a 1?
Yeah.
I didn't realize you rolled a 1.
Yeah, I rolled a 1.
Maybe you guys get separated, actually.
Yeah.
Glophorin's like, oh, it's this way. And you're like, no, it's this way. And you're just like, Glophorin's correct. And then you're just like in the thicket.
Well, because I am naive, so
Yeah, you're just like, now you're all alone. And you're lost in the Elderwood. And there's trees, you know, just like within touching distance on every side. You know, it's just this very dense area. Let's see. Here's what happens. As you're on this especially small just pathway, right? As I said, there's trees on every side. There's a couple ways to go down. You can remain right there. There's like a couple ways to go, but it's really tight. And you're kind of going this way. This is the right way, right? Yeah. Oh, where's Glophorin? So what happens is you see some strange movement on like the limbs of this tree above you, which like kind of snakes its way down onto the trunk of the tree, and you are pretty scared because you're like, oh no, this is a snake actually.
Because my fear is a snake.
It seems to be a giant snake. So actually what I want you to do is make another sanity check.
okay.
As you're quite terrified of this giant snake.
Okay, that's the 9.
A 9 minus 1. So what's your sanity?
It's 8 plus 1.
Yeah, so it's 8. So this is how it works. You lose 1 sanity.
Okay.
You go to 7 sanity.
So that actually puts me at 0, doesn't it now?
Yeah, so
modifier?
I think your modifier goes down as well.
Yeah.
And you can just write it off to the side for now if you want. But yeah, you're kind of freaking out right now. If you want to roleplay that at all, as the snake, this giant snake is slithering down the tree, you're terrified. You're just kind of like, you realize you're all alone, and you're just like,
All right. The setting is the trees are blocking out the sun. It is very dim. I mean, there is light, but it's not the light that you want to be alone in with your biggest fear. So I obviously recognize the slithering, sleeving snake just right there in front of me. I may not know it's a snake, but my fear kicks in and assume it is a snake. And I freeze.
Sure.
Freeze. Because not only is that safe for me, but it hones my senses. And I just focus on one thing, and one thing only, and it's my fear. The snake.
and as the snake continues to twist around this tree, and you have imagined it just drawing forth and biting you a couple times now, but it actually twists around and kind of lurches towards you, and gets close enough, you realize it's not a snake at all, but this giant centipede swirling around this tree. And kind of in its aggression, its eyes gleam red as it like strikes out to you with one of its fang-like arms near its front of its face. He has like these small pincers, but he actually kind of goes to stab you with his arm. His arms are like very sharp. This being a giant centipede, it's a bit like armored. And it's got like these pointy paws. And this like pointy paw kind of like stabs you a little bit in the shoulder, and you do take 1 damage from that, and this kind of throws you back in shock and awakens you a bit as your senses are also becoming more clear as you take your own action.
All right. With that initial stab, I feel like my reaction is actually going to be immediate. And so he touches me right there in my shoulder. And within my reaction is I grab it by the long leg and just punch straight up and break the leg.
Nice. Okay, punch the leg. Go ahead and roll your attack.
That's 15 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
So that's going to be an unarmed attack. So that's 1d4 plus 3. Seven damage.
Okay, so yeah, you kind of just sever his arm, and it's left in your other hand as he like squeals back in pain, this like greenish blue blood splurting out of him, and he kind of like recoils into the tree a bit before attempting again to strike you, this time with his pincers, but coming just shy of his target as you see his like slime dripping down these 2 fuzzy pincers he has, very spider-like, in front of his armored face. Nevertheless, as he misses right, just inches from you, you get your reaction.
I'm going to do my martial arts again. And as the pincers come towards me, I like grab him opposite of my arms like this. And I just push to spread his jaws apart.
Nice.
Yeah. Alright, I'm going to roll to see if I actually do that. 17.
Love your role playing, by the way. Your descriptions are great. You got a 17?
Yeah.
You definitely do that. And roll damage.
That's still going to be unarmed, right? Since it's just me using my fist. Yeah. 6.
Nice. So, as you just kind of break this guy's jaws apart, and they kind of fling off in other directions, the centipede itself kind of recoils into the tree completely and disappears into the midst of the trees. You think it'll probably die, although it's not dead yet. You kind of are, you have your reaction. I mean, you want to role play that. Where are you going to go? What are you going to do?
Orlon. Or Orin. Glorforn.
Glorforn, yeah.
I just yelled his name. Where are you?
Why don't you go ahead and roll kind of like a charisma-based. Anything you want. Probably, I don't want to say persuasion, but it might be the only one. Performance. Do that.
14.
Nice. So, actually, quite quickly, Glorforn is like, I heard you screaming. I was looking for you. Are you okay?
I'm okay. I think the woods have gotten to me. I was disoriented and next thing I knew, you were gone.
Yeah, you look very troubled. Are you sure you're okay?
I just encountered a creature I've never seen before. I've never experienced this before.
Was it a ghost?
It felt real to me,
I've seen ghosts in these mists before.
but I didn't take any damage, or I was not hurt. But my soul, my
You seem shaken.
essence, has been shaken.
Yeah, so as in this version of Gritty Rules, as your sanity depletes, your roleplay can also become more insane.
Questionable.
Once it goes down below 5, and if it gets to 0, your players, you don't die, but you're unplayable. So you're dead, basically. Your
Yeah.
character would live in the world, but you'd be like a mad hermit or whatever. So, very scary.
I've never experienced anything like this before.
Yes. That's troubling. I'm glad I found you.
I'm not even sure if you are here with me now.
I'm sorry I lost you, Critical. This is my fault. Let's go. I know the way. Follow me. And as he kind of grabs your hand to lead you out of the woods, you guys kind of make a sprint through and off the woods. You make it to the clearing in no time, and see the same separation of the woods, this river that runs through it, and kind of there and back again. The mountains on either side. These two large mountain ranges that just eclipse the horizon on either side. You're just in this valley of woods and rivers. And
Sorry. I'm putting up Zelda.
that was intense. Okay. Yeah, as you guys move along, you guys make it back to this kind of less terrifying wooded land, which has got more pine trees and much more light and
More meadows.
bits of pathways throughout it. Yeah, more open space, more clearings for sure. You guys actually, I guess we could do another survival check here.
Well, it seems more. I don't know.
Actually, you can.
Enlightened. Like.
Yeah.
I feel like after leaving this forest and that experience I had with the shade, I don't know if it was real or not, the centipede.
Yeah, this giant centipede. Yeah.
It could have been a phantom. It could have been a shade. It could have been real, for all I know.
Definitely terrified you. Made you
And
go,
now seeing this open dreamland, this meadow, butterflies are flying through.
It's a dreamland.
There's a certain sort of like twilight. The sun is coming through the leaves just right, so there's shades of beams of light.
Yeah, you think you see some of the butterflies, or were those fairies drifting past you? You can't be sure.
I can't be sure. It's mystic. I went from darkness mystic to bright mystic.
It's suddenly cloudy, and there are these like shants of light, shining through columns of light
Yeah.
that are just unnatural almost.
Can I do do I have a spiritual, or was it, I guess religion, or nature? I want to do like some sort of like inward like meditation and to perceive what I'm experiencing right now.
Yeah, golf. Yeah.
So a perception. Let's do a perception.
Yeah.
19.
So, just like questioning everything you're seeing, you think it's probably just your imagination, although you think the fairies were probably real. The clouds themselves are real. This land is similar to what you came through before, but there's definitely this magical.
Are
almost,
these the spirits almost of
yeah,
Elderwood?
it is like the spirit of the Elderwood that you feel around
But
you.
no, we're in the pine.
You still feel this spirit, although it's waning. It goes smaller. You're like in the shallow end, but over in the thick, dark woods is like the heart of this spirit of the Elderwood. You call it. that you still feel its presence, almost like the voice echoing in your head.
What kind of
Telling
guidance
you
does it give me?
what to do.
Should I do another check, I guess?
Yeah, you can do a check for guidance there. I'm not sure what kind of check that is, but maybe another similar check.
What did we do when we were in the Elderwood? That was a...
Oh, that was a history. Yeah, as you hear the voice, it's like a history.
Yeah.
Or you could do
Nature.
nature, yeah.
Both the same. Oh. What was that? 9?
Yeah, so basically, it's just kind of, you think,
I hear
the
the
message
same phrase.
that Glafforin told you. Not the same phrase as being friends, but just like almost a more sincere guidance from the tree, like its own words directly, but it's different. It's
Is it comforting?
it's telling you, it's not necessarily comforting. It's like investigate the burning forest, which is what you're going to do. But that's just a message that rings through you. Like that's what the tree itself is thinking about. Like what's up with the burning woods? And that is the quest you've undertaken, and there's a quest card for that, so you get that. The reward, of course, is unknown. There's not like a laid out reward for completing this investigation, but that is your main quest for the time being, it would seem, that you've undertaken. So,
I accept and continue on with Glowform.
as you just after a short time, you find the goblin camp you passed by and slept at for 3 days. So you repass that, and you guys
Resettle camp for the night.
since it's been a long while, you guys can camp for the night, for the evening, and for the night, and you probably don't need to expend anything, but you can take off again in the morning.
Alright, we had our rest.
That was fun, dude. Good role playing today. Do you want this?
Yeah, I've been enjoying it, so.
I do enjoy role playing with you. You're a very good player of the game. Wait, you said you DM?
I've been trying to put a campaign.
I would play with you.
I'm nervous to do it, honestly.
It's pretty hard. I just kind of like dove in the deep end, and I was like, I want to do the best possible job.
No,
Fun to play
I
with
think
you.
you're doing an awesome job.
You know what's fun, actually? I really like playing with Kevin as well. I think you're the best person I've played with. But Kevin was good, although he didn't know how to play.
Mm-hmm.
He was good at the thing that I find most important, which is he would like get into it and like describe things. But yeah, he did a good job.
And I really enjoyed the fact that you brought in my fear of the snake, which was the centipede. But
Nice.
yeah,
Well,
that was.
It was a little bit scary. That was the only like scary thing that happened.
Yeah.
That was like you got punished.
But I love the way I like disabled it, ripping its pincers apart. Yeah.
So okay, I remember. So. Yeah, as you guys, again, this is the 4th night you've woken up in the goblin camp. So you guys are
Kind of
you're used to this by now.
disoriented, I feel like.
You kind of, this at least, Glafforin is like, isn't this a familiar morning? But yeah, maybe you don't find it so. You guys continue on south. You kind of follow this thick trail, which is new in this area that was laid out by that goblin horde you saw the other day, which kind of made a bit of a trail through the area. Kind of seems like the area hasn't been traveled in a long time, if it ever was. But the orc were passing through for some reason, so there's somewhat of a trail now, which you're able to follow, and Glafforin kind of leads along that. And eventually, actually, go ahead and it's quite a travel. Nothing too exciting happens for a while, but as it gets into the evening, make a navigation check. Or survival. So, kind of similar situation. You're kind of like, for a moment, although Glafforin generally leads the way, he kind of gets disoriented, but you're able to say, "This is the way we were going."
Let's continue.
It's like, yeah, that's right then. Trust you on that one.
Alright.
Which is nice. Eventually, after a while, you guys will come to basically the area on the map he pointed to. He says we're getting close to the bridge.
So we're getting close to the Lost Road.
Yeah.
And we must be getting very close to Ozar and the Burning Woods.
It's pretty close to Ozar. It's about another day's travel.
North, correct?
Yes.
As
Along
long
the
as we
river.
follow the river, we shall get there, correct?
True, but I am not going to Ozar. I wouldn't set foot in Ozar. They're despicable people.
To half-elves like yourself?
They could be, but more so to humans like yourself.
I thought Ozar was the last human.
No. Ozar is a...
Slave camp, then.
It's essentially, it is a territory of the elven kingdom of Errigold. It's the
I thought that
Southern
was the
Kingdom.
last kingdom of man, but
last kingdom of man.
it is down here, huh?
Sorry if you got confused, friend, but yes, it's down to the south. If you still want to change your mind and go to the settlement of men, well, it will be much safer for you.
No, I think
I shall take you there.
I think
We're about a day's journey off. Or
the
back.
burning forest sounds like that is where the spirits have sent us. That's where we shall go.
If you seek knowledge, perhaps we'll find it there.
That's where I think we shall go.
Although I don't know where you should end up searching for knowledge. Be careful. I was just trying to find. Let's see. I found it. Yeah. So, eventually, through the pine, this is a dense pine forest that you travel through now for the next day, or half a day. It kind of peters out where you rested at the camp, kind of the middle of the Elderwood and the pine forest. So it mixed these trees together, but now it just becomes these pine trees, and it's thick in the center. Sap is heavy, and after about half a day's travel, you see a small kind of hamlet settlement of white clay buildings, which are small, and they're nestled along the blue spruces, and the river, Gadding, and you actually hear the faint sound of flutes and like grassy roots from the rooftops of this clay village. Glafforin tells you this is an elven and like a gnomish settlement, which is secret to most people, but I have shown it to you. You said you've been here before. If you memorize its location, you can return here. It is a safe place in the heart of the pine grove, and it is a nice bounty to rest here, safe from the squabbles of men and elves, and the Minotaur, for that matter.
Can I do a perception check or?
Yeah, is there anything you want to know?
Just their demeanor. Anything that about their activity that should be alarming.
You mean the elves themselves?
Yeah,
The settlers?
The settlers.
So, I'll just tell you, you don't see really anyone there. You just see these buildings. You do catch maybe the glimpse of an elf on a rooftop balcony, kind of playing a flute. But as you look at him, he catches your eye from a distance and kind of tucks away out of sight. So you don't see anyone.
I let Glorforn lead the way.
But there is this large clay hut building by the river as you approach, which seems to be like right butted up next to the road. Not really a clear indication, but Glafforin will motion and tell you this is the inn where we can rest. And there's a market nearby.
I follow with precaution.
So he's like, let's check in at the inn. I'm sure there's a room. It's never full here. Travelers are rare. Since this is a secretive place, just most people, had you not been shown this by Abraham, most people would not know this. I'm surprised you know it already.
I don't know. I feel Trinicor walks in with all but nothing but respect for the owners and the area. I am precautious, but also respectful.
As you guys kind of walk in the front doors, it's just like this simple swinging door on this white clay, kind of larger hut with like maybe a second story to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of large room. It's like 20 feet. But right as you kind of enter and the doors kind of swing shut behind you, there are these two knights on either side of the door. Somewhat to you guys' surprise, evidently, as well as Glawforin's. These seem to be like human knights, and they kind of put their weapons up to stop you guys. They're just like, what business have you here?
Are you knights of the first word? Are you friends of Abraham?
And they lower their weapons like immediately, and they're like, yes. Well, do you have news?
Only that I escaped, and they're still in the Goblin Caverns.
My name is Brian. Abraham is here. Come with us.
I follow.
And then,
But still guard up.
Okay.
Although these are humans here in this elvish town,
yes.
I also do not trust the fact that there are humans in this elvish town.
Yeah, they bear like the knight of the, or the crest of the Knights of the Word. So you recognize this, like these crossed swords and this dragon's head. And they kind of lead you up these stairs, and Glawforin follows you. And they're both in front of you guys are just following. And they take you up to this room, swing open the door. And this is just like very simple. There's like this wooden staircase. It's this pretty small room, 20 feet. This like dome-shaped cavern. So as you go up, the second floor is like smaller, 10 feet. But you go into this little room with like these wood floors, this wooden second floor built. And there on the bed, you see that someone is resting kind of in this glowing white area, this kind of light shining upon them through the window. And they kind of have a veil over their head. And beside them is this knight who, as he turns to you, smiles. He's like, Trinicor, didn't think I'd see you. And you recognize Abraham. Well, how you doing? How you doing there, sir?
Oh, not so bad. And you?
Good to see you. Good to see you, Trinicor. I thought you'd succumb to the flames. We couldn't find you.
Who is this knight I'm talking to?
So Abraham, you recognize as he was the commander of the troop you went with.
This knight.
The guy before. Well, so Brian he just introduced the knight and this other knight who were at the door.
Mm-hmm.
But then they led you up to the room, and they're outside, and you walked in to the room, and Glawforin is following you. But Abraham's in here looking at this.
Oh, Abraham is the one that's talking to me.
And Abraham is talking to you.
Okay.
So he's like, what's a Scottish accent? He says, good to see you there, lad. I thought you'd succumb to the flames. What are you doing? Are you okay?
I am well, my friend. I have been quite on a journey since leaving those caverns.
Well, I'm glad to see you back. The monastery won't destroy me.
Not today, my friend.
Not today.
Today, we are glad to see a friendly face once again.
I can go there again. I thought I'd have to avoid him.
Oh, bloody hell.
Oh, bloody hell. Oh, very good. Not so good for our comrades. Guess you made it out okay. And he references to the bed. You kind of recognize one of the adventurers who helped save you from the goblins.
Mm-hmm.
The female elf lying in the bed. She looks very under the weather, so It's like this strange scene. She's glowing white in this room, like Frodo after he got sick.
Can I pull something out of my inventory and see if either Abraham or this elf that's in bed recognizes what I have?
Yeah, what are you getting?
So I have my dark goblin script that I found within the caverns, and I found this.
Yeah.
When I was with Abraham.
It's very interesting. It's got the darkest flame. And of course you know what that is. I think I do.
Recap?
The darkest flame is that pitch ember we fought in the caverns that destroyed your friend here. And it's also, it's hard to read, but it says this knife. The lass had it, so he hands you this dagger from the bedside table, and it's just like this, kind of it's this ornate scripted dagger, and he's like, I guess it's the dagger of the darkest flame, that. So he hands it to you, and he'll say, maybe you can make use of this. I don't know what the script says exactly. It's hard to read. What's that?
I'm just trying to picture the dagger right now. So I'm thinking obsidian that has like a heat that comes off of it. It's dark as dark, but has such a high heat temperature to it.
Yeah, it's got like this swirling scripted inlay around the handle and near the hilt of the blade, and kind of at the other end of the hilt. So, but yes, you're correct. It's like this
dark obsidian, like black steel, like something that is just like very ornate, but then that burning, encrusted, encrypted handle that just has the flame of the word, and the word is darkness.
Yeah, it's
because it's the
it's like in runes, but you recognize the runes as
what we were saying was
the darkest flame.
Darkest flame, yeah.
It just says dark flame on the handle. So, or like in runes, approximately translated.
Is this oministic, or like, do I feel like I would be in danger in grasping this blade?
You can make a perception check as you go to grab it.
Yeah, because I don't want to be like corrupted or anything, you know.
Yeah, Abraham himself seems fine as he hands it to you. So you can do a check.
21.
You got 21? What do you roll on 8? 19?
I'm 19, yeah.
That's pretty good. So.
Oh, sorry, 20.
Well, this is a good question. It needs a double check. So, what I'll say. You kind of do have two reservations about this, although you find it immediately harmless. Like, you're like, Abraham's fine, but this is a dagger of the darkest flame. Surely it's got some black magic, there's some inherent badness to it. But you also recognize maybe it's a cursed weapon of some sort. But it also looks extremely well made, like a very powerful weapon, so it might be worth the mouth.
I almost want to do like a integrity check or something to like, you know, like to see if I withstand the curse, I guess, or like the dark magic surrounding it.
So you're gonna grab it and see if you can withstand it.
Yeah,
that makes sense. So
or
do that check.
Do like a sense check, like to, you know, if you touch like an evil item, you get that.
Yeah, I'd say do the same kind of check, just more specifically. You know there might be something weird about it, but will it matter for you? Would you be able to overcome it?
What's that? That's a 12.
Yeah, so I'll say you succeed. So basically, you don't think you have necessarily a better chance than anyone else, but you kind of glean insight, which is in order for this dagger to be really utilized to its magical extent, there is kind of a price to pay upon ever using it every time. It seems
like a
something dark.
sanity or
Not sanity, and looking at the note, you are able to kind of interpret the bottom of this orcish script, which says you cut yourself with the dagger, and the dagger will ignite, as it were, and become more powerful. And might have other curses, you're not sure, but you know that in itself, you pay a price to get a benefit. So there's something.
will I take like a hit
Malevolence.
point damage if I do the ignition, or
You
do I
think,
get inspiration? Because I feel like that would be inspiration, if anything. If you light your sword on fire, like it's
so the text seems to indicate the sword becomes more powerful.
okay. But do I take damage for it?
That you think it would depend,
Yeah.
maybe and maybe not,
Okay.
depending on. You think you could
Probably my
you could not
concentration.
you could not take damage, but if you mess up, you could.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
It
definitely
depends on the roll.
You're kind of scared of this because it's like kind of like dark magic, kind of like
It's like a 50-50.
you take a risk to get a benefit.
Yeah.
But you might be okay and get a benefit. Kind of the feeling. And kind of like your analysis after studying this script, this dark script and this blade. The script itself also references a queen, a master, who seems to be referred to as the Darkest Flame. But you're not sure if it's the Darkest Flame or just some priestess who summoned the Darkest Flame that you saw. You're not sure what a lot of it means, but part of it refers to the dagger specifically and gives you all that insight.
What's its damage? Is it a D6 or D4?
Yes. It's
a D6 plus the Dex or Strength.
Let me double check that.
Well,
I have it
being a
somewhere.
monk, I can interchange any of my weapons, so I'm just gonna go with
Oh,
Dex.
it's Dex.
Yeah.
It's Dex or Strength for a dagger, I think. But it also has, it's a special weapon. It's a +1. It's a +1 weapon, so that's good.
And so that's a +4 then. If I'm doing my Dex and the +1.
Well, actually, I think it's a regular. It's not +1 unless you cut yourself. Then it becomes
Okay,
+1.
yeah. So let's make a rule on this real quick.
Yeah.
Because we are not really sure about it. So it will be the 1d6 plus 3, and it's an extra +1 if I do the cutting damage. But with the cutting damage, I have to roll to see if it.
It does fire damage if you activate it.
Yeah. And so, but that's gonna be 1d20 to roll if damage or no damage.
Yeah, so that would be like a DC probably of 10 or less
Yeah.
to not take damage. So it'd be somewhat easy, somewhat easy not to take damage, because you'd also have a benefit of dexterity, probably,
Yeah.
or constitution. So yeah, the dagger of the Darkest Flame, cool, useful. I have a key card for that, I thought, but yeah. How's it go? So, she was your friend, wasn't she, this elf? Saw you with it?
I take it.
They saved you the way they saved me, didn't they? They're in quite a sorry state, but we had an elven healer from the town visit, and didn't seem great. but a few of the other boys went out in search of a rare herb, the washing wilt. They haven't returned, or one of them returned empty-handed. It's a rare herb.
What's it called again?
It's a washing wilt, said the elf. It's smells of sulfur. It's a white flower.
Why is this flower so important?
Apparently, it could help with the burn. These are in her the elf, and the wizard are in critical condition. They probably won't make it, but it might help.
Well,
I'm not sure how long we can stay around here, though.
there are many things going on in these woods, as it may appear. Our main quest right now is to go to the burning forest of the Elderwood. And now that you bring us this new quest, I wonder if these are connected in any some way.
The great bloody fires. Let's stay out of there. Come back with us then, and we'll return these freedmen to the kingdom. Yeah, we'll take them home on the birds, and then we'll get paid, and then we can return, and you can do what you want with the woods. But I'm supposed to get you back to a monastery this time next year, I think.
I appreciate Abraham, but I have taken on too many quests at the same time. I can no longer say yes to multiple things. If I am a man of my word, I want to at least complete some of the tasks that I've already taken on before taking on new ones.
I can tell you've been through a lot, haven't you? You're not the same man who came out on this journey with me.
I can only say yes so many times, Abraham.
I'm sorry, Triticor.
But I do request that I do continue on with your quest, but it's not my priority as of this moment.
Well, I want to protect you, but it looks like you have a new friend here. And he kind of greets Glafforin. They kind of shake hands and introduce themselves.
This does not make us enemies, but only allies. I am sorry that I cannot continue on my way with you, but I am in the region. I do have my priorities. I'm going to stick to them, and then I'll see you in our new paths. Go ahead.
Glafforin bows to Abraham and says, he's a friend of the woods now, and we're on our way to investigate the fires. And
well, if our path takes us the same direction, I have no quarrel. But once our paths start to drift, as in destination, I'm only going until I get to the burning forest. After that, I do not know where I will.
Abraham will kind of cross his arms, lean back, and say like, well, I guess it's no loss, really. I'm just glad you're all right, and you're still alive, son. I wasn't sure what happened to you. But the burning woods aren't too far off, and I'll be here a time, so if you come back, you can journey with us back to Farleon.
I just have this one task ahead of me, and I feel like this will benefit not just I, but you as well.
But listen, if you're leaving the town, do us a favor and your friends here and search for the washing wilt. I've told you it's got the smell of sulfur, and it's a white flower, but it is rare. But if you happen upon it, just bring it back. Maybe we can use it to save these good people who saved us. That's the only reason we remain. And then we'll be on our way to the kingdom of man. And you can come with us.
I will make it my priority to keep my eyes out for this flower for you.
Very good then,
This
son.
Washing wilt.
He'll embrace you, give you a little hug. You guys nod off. And that's pretty much that. What do you want to do now? You're still in this little inn. It's like this dome.
I feel like
Clay.
just considering the time and all that,
Yeah.
this would be a good time to do another rest.
Yeah, Abraham will definitely just be like, you can have this room here. We're in charge of the inn now. So the previous keeper, he's gone,
Can
and now it's for the
Abraham
knights.
show me where on the map we are at this moment?
Yeah, Glawthorn will also. They'll kind of just hint to show you the bridge. It's a secret settlement here. It's hidden. It's a cloaked settlement, so no fear from the elves or from the wars of man as well.
Very good. That is not our.
Very small
It's
hamlet
not
town.
our place. We are from I myself am very, very far from any civilization that is within these quarters. All I care about is keeping up with tradition and knowledge and the growth of mankind.
Well, come on, Triticor, then. We're trying to just save the other men who's been enslaved. Huh?
I understand.
That's why you come out here. But yeah, you've come out here to learn. Very well.
But that
Teach you
also
what's right.
means knowledge is more than just like out of books. It's also out of the interactions between different species, as in humans and elves, orcs, goblins. We all have a different history, a different background, but how we interact is how we're going to correct the future.
Well, I mean, I don't know. The interactions of elves and men have just made matters worse, and goblins are just as despicable. Glawthorn
I
will agree.
know he
Yes,
was-
the elves and men are foolish.
I have made friends with a goblin and an orc not more than a fortnight ago.
And Glawthorn will kind of interject and be like, well, those goblins were in a tricky predicament, but they did behave strangely. I meant to say, how did you befriend these goblins? I've never met a rational goblin in my life, although I've met few.
It depends on how you treat them, and how you interact with them. If you give them respect, you shall receive it as well.
Glawthorn will kind of like shake his head and be like, well, they're probably just lost and desperate. They wouldn't attack you because they're so weak. They were in the Elderwood. Like I said, they're
you
still
and I-
there. They can't move.
Weren't you and I just this week? Didn't we not steal their camp?
Wow.
Did we not?
You got lost.
You got lost as well, my friend.
Kind of. You saved me a couple times.
And
But you
you
did.
saved me as well.
You did get lost. I didn't get lost. But not for my own.
BS roll. BS roll.
You're right. You're right. It's not to my own. You saved me. I didn't save you. That's the only reason you got lost. I ran off without you. But the goblins are not as smart as either of us. If we got lost, they'll never find their way. That's what I'm trying to say. These are not. I don't know. Maybe you're right about. I don't know.
Well, if that is the case, then why can we not use our charisma to make them agree with us in our matters instead of doing this as a force takes all? Let's do a very democratic.
Well, if we could convince the elves to be reasonable, then we try to convince the goblins, eh?
Okay.
I'm with you there, but I got my feet on the ground, and well,
what you need is
this elf
A
at least seems
very-
reasonable.
diplomatic
monk. And
Perhaps you're right. What am I saying here between this elf and sickling and
I don't know.
strange
Globform
pharaoh?
is all about it.
Yeah. So Glothorin explains he's a half elf to Abraham, yeah. You're both free to make your rest then. We have empty rooms all over the place up here for you. And we'll be here, I imagine, at least a few more days before we head back. But also, you notice in the room, and scattered throughout the inn, there's a couple people who look very ragged and kind of like very, very dirty peasants about. Their scattered clothes, but one kind of passes the hallway, and you notice him kind of staggering downstairs, maybe to get some food or something. But yeah, you guys are free. Abraham shows you this room. You both get a room to rest in, and he says there's food downstairs if you want, and maybe mead for you. You can have as much as you'd like. So.
Do I gain my 1 HP back then?
It depends how long you want to rest here, because if you just rest a day, you can use your hit dice to regain health, or if you take a long rest, like 3 days, you could regain your hit point for free.
Well, we're not doing a long rest because...
So with a short rest, you wouldn't,
no.
unless you expend your hit die.
I'm only losing 1 health right now, so...
Yeah, so you probably don't want to,
No.
but that's how it stands.
Yeah, but I really, since they want us to find this flower before they leave this town, I think that should be part of the side quest towards going towards the burning forest. Because if I can return that in time for Abraham to get back to the elf,
Yeah.
I think that is probably objective number 1.
And Glothorin will say, like, yeah, I could probably help you find this flower in no time.
Well, because the burning forest is within the region as well. It shouldn't take much more work to find this.
True, we might find it on the way.
Knock out 2 tasks with 1 stone.
Very well. I have nothing against it. Well, it is almost evening. Perhaps we'll stay here for the night, or do you want to head out today?
I prefer to head out in the morning. I am not encountering another phantom centipede here in these forests.
Very good then. Yeah, we'll have a little nightly rest then. I'll be off to my room, and
At dawn.
Oren will take his place. He'll meet you at dawn, yes.
Dawn it is.
And yeah, you can have some soup. They've got some like potato and.
So that's probably going to just be my exhaustion level, maybe? So does it
What?
go into the negative? The exhaustion?
You don't get exhausted for this.
No, do I gain, like, I don't know, like, instead of being 0, I go to 1?
For exhaustion?
Yeah.
No, exhaustion is more extreme. Like, if you fall to 0 HP, you get an exhaustion. Or if you just push yourself past your limits for any reason, like, I mean, you can travel faster for an exhaustion.
So is that why it always is starting out at 0?
Yes, if you get to like 5 exhaustion, you would die.
So not in the negative, but in...
Yeah, it's 0 to 5. 5 is death.
Okay, so 0
1
is
and
good.
and 1 is like you get disadvantage on all your ability checks.
Okay.
And 2 is like you get I forget, but it's bad.
Yeah.
You don't want exhaustion. But you don't have exhaustion. So
Not yet.
yeah, you're well rested. You're doing fine. You're doing great. But yeah, you've got your soup. You've got some mead. You want to drink some mead? Have a good time.
Yeah.
There's 12-hour
rest.
There's people around if you
You talk. There's the knights at the door. There's just like these scattered
It's a
hobos
safe
about.
tavern.
There's a couple hobos in there.
Yeah.
It seems to be just kind of resting. There actually wanders in like this elf from the town, you assume, who kind of just like seems like kind of confused upon seeing all the hobos and yourself, and he just gets a drink anyway and starts having a time.
Can I do a listen?
You can, but he's not really talking to anybody. He's alone, and he's kind of like, "What the fuck is going on in here?
Okay,
Where's
how about
the
perception?
innkeeper?" Yeah, you definitely discern he's like confused because the ownership of the inn is different. He's like, the owner's not here. There's all these hobos and the knights at the door who like almost didn't let me in. I just told him I only wanted a drink. But
There's definitely something else going on.
he kind of like notices.
This makes me actually question the knights. Have they taken over this inn?
He kind of notices you, and he's like, "What's going on?"
Not interrogation. Question. No. I wish it was 3.5. Honestly.
What you can do anything you want. What do you want to do?
I guess I want to do perception.
That's a roll. Perception.
Yeah, let's do perception. I just want to see, like, I want to read him.
Yeah.
As in, like, is he confused as to why these knights are here? Or why the owner's not here? Or why the fact that, like, it seems, to me, suspicious.
So you kind of overhear him muttering to himself.
And I got 15.
And it's like all those things. Like he's like, you kind of hear him muttering all of that. Like, who are these guys? Where's the owner? Somebody else gave me a drink. A knight in armor. It's like, it's weird.
Are these paladins?
And he notices you. It's like, no, they're the Knights of the Word who you are familiar with.
Yeah, I know,
So,
but are they paladins or?
They're not paladins necessarily. They're just like fighters. Or like, really what they are is they're knights from the last kingdom of man.
But they're not religious?
They are religious.
So
They're closely associated sort of with the church in the human town, which is like, well, basically everywhere it's the Church of the Word. But there's like different sects. They're like one of the human sects of the Word. Like your sect is the first word, and their sect is like the second word. But you found their messages very similar, and that's why you went out with them to begin with. These knights you don't know specifically, except for Abraham, and all the other knights are different. But you assume they're on the same mission that Abraham was, which was just freeing humans from slavery in Ozar.
Yeah.
So that's your understanding.
All right.
And there's kind of this other knight who takes off his helmet, and he's like, just got blonde hair, and he goes down to sit at the bar, kind of close to you on the opposite side of this confused elf. And, he just kind of sits back with his feet up, and he's like, when are we going to get out of here? I've been here for almost a month. And some of the other knights are just like complaining with him a little bit. I'm like, yeah, we should go. Get everybody out of here. That's about it.
I like it.
Huh?
I think
I think now we should actually just go for our rest. Because,
Yeah, it's getting late.
yeah.
Yeah, Glafforin actually went to bed. So you're down there with this random elf, sitting a few seats away, and the Knights of the Word, who are kind of relaxing on the other side of you, and just kind of jesting with each other about whatever. They're bored. They seem bored. They're like, let's go find Abraham and tell him to get out tomorrow. So yeah.
Well, we still have to find the white flower for the elf. The washing wheel.
Yeah, so if you want to make your way up to bed, you go on up to bed, and it's a decent bed. It's a soft cushion, and you fall asleep relatively quickly.
Rest.
You got an actual inn.
I'm not sleeping at a goblin camp anymore.
Yeah, no more caves. And
Yeah.
goblins. You found a town
With a fucking feather bed.
be it a tiny hamlet.
Oh.
There's like not much in the town. It's a few like clay huts of these domes
It's a town.
in this pine forest. But yes, it's a secret town of elves who are secretive.
And we keep our low profile.
And it's not too far from Ozar or the Burning Wood.
No, yeah, we're almost there actually.
And yeah, you're like, oh yeah, you're on both maps.
Yeah. So we are like very, very close.
So just to
We're
break,
right here, and we're trying to get to the Burning Woods.
yeah, all that line is the Burning Wood because those are ashen trees.
Yeah. But then we're also just like right here, right in the front.
Yeah, and this map's a bit more zoomed in, is what I was gonna say,
Yeah, because that's
You can
kind
tell.
of like that, right?
because you can see those two rivers,
Yeah.
much bigger. And
Yeah,
so
right
you
here.
can't even see the Burning Wood on this map, but it's right over here.
Yeah. Yeah, right here.
And then Ozar, you're not there, but it's up here
It's right here.
on this map.
Like literally, like right here.
Yeah, it's like north of there, so yeah,
It's right there.
exactly. Not too far, less than a day.
Yeah,
to
we're
Ozar.
getting there.
Less than a day to the Burning Wood.
We'll find that flower for sure.
The washing wilts. You gotta find that sulfur flower, bro. Gotta heal those burn victims.
Yeah.
Is that a quest? That should be a quest.
I mean, it's part of.
Oh.
I mean, I have it written down. So.
I don't think I made that. I'll make a quest card for find the washing wilt.
Okay.
But
I have it right here though.
I knew this would happen. This always happens.
What?
The DM plan, and then the character adventure.
So was this different than what you expected?
I knew I would. Oh man, my plan was to downplay the. Well, I was debating it. I was like, I've got this fork at the beginning. I was like, should I offer this fork, or should I just be like, no, go this way? So I offered the fork basically, which is like, go to the Burning Wood for the elder tree, or you can continue to the human town like you planned.
Yeah.
And that was more planned. This was more improv again. I was like, I planned it so well, this is gonna be great. And then I was like, oh no,
I feel
we're
like
doing
since
random stuff again.
you brought this out, and so I'm like, oh, so this is where
That
I
was
should
the
go.
only thing I planned.
I'm like, well, he's pushing me this way now, so.
I have these other ones. Well, you kind of have this quest too. It's mentioned. It's teased. I won't give it to you. You know, you tell the wizard that Glafforin seeks his aid. Because Glafforin mentioned, like, you can come with me, but if you don't, find the wizard for me.
Yeah.
But you're not doing that. So
No.
there was a path, and then
Yeah.
you chose this one, which was more unplanned. I knew it would happen. I should have planned it. I should have planned it. That's all. But it was fun. I actually figured, like, this is where my last campaign was. This was the area. So
Okay.
that's why you were kind of like, whoa, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Probably. Because it was a bit easy.
Yeah.
So I guess I had it planned already. From
From past.
months ago, probably.
No, I like it.
That's cool, though. More on the main quest than they were. if there is a main quest.
I don't
I'd
think there is.
Try to provide multiple main quests
Yeah, right?
so that you can do whatever you want, but it's got to be main quests and side quests still.
Yeah,
To some
that's
degree.
kind of like where I was going with like the flower and
Yeah.
like going to the burning wood, like or burning forest.
At one point, that was the main quest. Right after the fire happened, I was like, "Oh, he'll go here and do this."
Yeah.
And then you went the other way, and I was like, "Oh, now you're here. I got to check, and you do this."
Well, hey, that's how it goes, though.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That's fun to. Nice. Good
Role
game.
play.
Fun to do things. Yeah, that was way fun.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Thanks for playing.
Oh yeah.
Freaking Glawforan. Freaking
Yeah.
Abraham. You like my Scottish accent?
I
All
do,
I've got
actually.
to do is think of the word Scottish.
Yeah,
And it's called
you can just
Scottish.
do that for
And then that's the
everything.
whole accent.
You just do it for.
Whenever I try to, I'll try to be like, how do I do it? Scottish. And I'm like, that's not right. And then I'm like, Scottish. Yes, that's right. That's right.
That's how you do it.
I'm probably terrible. I'm probably butchering it. But
I just
still
suck
good
at
to me.
accents so bad.
And you have made it to the end of the video. Thank you very much for tuning in. Please like and subscribe to show your support for what we're doing. And we're new to YouTube, so we could really use the support. Thanks.